Oh, hey guys, it's Big Boy. Been enjoying the humidity festival we have this time of year every year in Northeast Texas. I'm going to talk a little bit today. I've been thinking about another subject for a video. Um, Normally, I'd rather this name of this channel is Big Boy Hunts. Until I have some successful hunting videos, I'm going to talk more about handgun and firearm safety. Today's subject is going to be tips on teaching a new person or a younger person how to shoot a handgun for the first time safely, responsibly, and have it where they can enjoy it. Now, I'm going to say this right off the bat. I got two examples here I'm going to show y'all in a minute. First off, you have to be the responsible instructor when you're teaching, especially today's youth, about firearms. Every one of them play video games. The first thing I guarantee you they're going to try to quote you is some video game crap about a gun. Shut that down right off the bat. Tell them that you're not going to teach them or let them shoot if they talk video games. The video games have no area in real firearm use. We'll play out right now. I've told both my grand boys, if you start that, we're not going to shoot. And they don't. Now, I can't keep them from playing video games, but that's when you teach somebody to shoot, they need to be taught right and it is real. All right. Number two, if you think it's funny to give a woman or a kid a really kicking firearm and watch them shoot it the first time to laugh at them when they drop it or it bounces back, hits them in the head, don't do it. Don't teach. In fact, I really wish you wouldn't even have anything to do with firearms. That's irresponsible conduct on your part. And I see videos all the time, gun fails, where people are handed a gun that they know somebody handed to them. They know is a heavy recoiling gun and they know they have no idea about it. I'll give you a perfect example of that. My youngest daughter is a 4.8 shooter. She placed in everything she shot in: BB gun, air rifle, archery, air pistol. She shot some skeet with a 20 gauge shotgun, but she had never shot a kicking rifle. I carried her deer hunting one time and let her use a 357 Magnum pistol round rifle because it didn't kick. She went home from college with a friend of hers, and she grew up with this boy. He knew she knew how to shoot, but this kid's making a mistake. He let her shoot a 50 caliber inline muzzle loader that had a 3x9 scope on it, and she tried to take a left-handed shot at a deer. She's got the half moon scar to this day. You'll see it on anybody that's ever let a scope get them in the eyebrow. Plus, she fell out of the deer stand getting down. She wonders she wasn't hurt worse than that. So don't let anybody shoot something that kicks if you don't think they can handle it. All right. Number two, everybody watches these movies, and the Glock is the most common handgun in a movie, and everybody knows about Glock. These people run and buy a Glock 19, shoot it 3 times, and they think they're qualified. Try to deter people from doing that. If you got a novice shooter, especially a woman or a child, and I'm not being sexist here, I had rather train a woman to shoot than a man any day of the week, because a woman will listen if they've never fired a gun. They will listen to you. Most guys won't listen if they've ever fired one because they automatically think they know more than you. But if you're going to let them shoot any semi-auto, especially a center fire, 2 rounds, put one in the chamber, one in the mag, until you are sure they can handle the recoil and the function of that firearm. Because you don't want them to have a full mag in a 1911 and they keep firing as it goes over the top of their head. That's happened. So don't do that. Okay, I'm going to show you 2 firearms that I think are ideal to train a new first time handgun shooter. 22 long rifle. All right, first one here. This is a Ruger Wrangler. About $200 at Academy. Thing about this Ruger Wrangler, all you have to do, open the ejector port up. It releases a cylinder where you can push the shells out and load it. Very safe handgun, very good, well-built handgun. It has a hammer transfer bar, which I don't mind you can see right there in the firearm, that will keep this gun from firing if it's dropped. The hammer transfer bar only comes up when the firearm is cocked before you pull the trigger. Economical to shoot, even in today's standard, fun to shoot, and a fairly, by today's prices, inexpensive handgun. The other handgun you can shoot is a Ruger 22 automatic pistol. This is a Mark I target model. It's got the fully adjustable rear sight and what they call a tapered heavy barrel, 6 5/8 heavy barrel. They also made this gun in a standard model with a 4 5/8 tapered barrel, a little smaller barrel with thick sights. Excellent gun, excellent choice for a first-time shooter. Only thing I will tell you about these Mark I's, do not take this gun apart. I have seen more people take these apart and have to send them back to the factory to get them put back together. I've had this particular gun since 1978. I bought it off a friend of mine when I was a sporting goods manager at Walmart. Only thing that's ever been done to it, I lock the bolt back with the safety like this. I take the grips off to clean under the grips. This gun has had thousands of rounds shot through it, and it's a fine gun, very accurate. I've actually shot 100-yard silhouette matches with this gun. So these are fun guns to shoot, and they're fairly economical to shoot. Now, if you're training a kid and you want to keep them interested, Walmart sells these little spinner targets for a 22. You got stakes, you stake it in the ground. There's 4 targets here and 1 on top. And when you shoot, if you shoot it right, it flips them all up. Then you shoot the one on top and it turns them back down. Kids love to see that. They see something move. All right. Shooting paper may get boring after a while. But, however, I highly recommend you start anybody out on paper so you can see what kind of group they're shooting with the gun. Explain sight picture to them. Anybody I've trained, they stop at my kitchen table before we go to my range, and I draw out on a piece of paper what their sight picture should look like on a target. Makes it a lot easier to explain to them than trying to tell them about it when you got a hot weapon on a range. All right? Take your time with them. Get up close to the target. When you qualify for a Texas handgun permit, you shoot at 3 yards, 7 yards, and 15 yards. Start them out at least at 7. And if they're not grouping very good, start them out at 3 on paper. That way, it'll get their confidence up. They can see their group and they can see what they're doing, and you can make adjustments on how they're holding their firearm and get them to shooting a group. Now, for a new first-time shooter, I'm not expecting 3-shot group is touching one another. If you keep them shooting a group the size of a $half, I prefer it tighter, but that'll get them going. That'll get them in the game. Let them shoot. Show them the difference in the group. The thing to instill in them, and I told this to my youngest daughter when I started her out on her BB gun for the 4-H matches. I don't care where the bullet hits. Aim in the same place every shot. You want a group. I don't care if your bullseye's here and your group in here. If you're shooting a group, I can move them sights or show you how to, if it's a fixed sight gun, show you how to compensate for that to get that group on target. But if you're shooting something that's scattering all the bullets out, you can't adjust to that. I can't stress enough when you're showing a new shooter, make sure you instill on them, you aim exactly the same every time, and you aim in exactly the same place. Do not pay attention to where the bullets hits at first. I want you shooting the group, and we can adjust the movement of the group down the road. Another thing, my oldest daughter, I taught her how to shoot a pistol a few years ago. And she was one of them I made shoot 250 rounds through her gun in my last video. It was her 9mm. I mentioned that after 100 rounds, it went to functioning right. But she was shooting a fairly decent group, but the group was lateral this way. When you're shooting a group that's lateral, that's trigger finger. That's trigger control. That's trigger. You got too much finger on the trigger. And what happens, I hope YouTube don't can me for this, when you're doing this and you got too much, I'm exaggerating it, but too much finger on the trigger, you'll pull a little bit. I had her readjust her grip and start shooting more on the pad of her finger, and her group improved. If you're scattering a group up and down, but it's still a group, but it's an elevated vertical group, that's breathing. Tell them to concentrate on their breathing, try to get it under control. But if you're shooting all over, that's sight picture, trigger control, a little bit of everything, and you need practice. That's why I can't emphasize enough. Start them out at a closer range. It'll help build their confidence up, and it'll help you tell them how to adjust their sight picture and their trigger control to get them shooting the best group they possibly can. Again, I can't emphasize enough the safety aspect of it. If you take somebody to the range and you got several people, it's your responsibility to make sure that everybody's firearm behind that firing line is unloaded and they're not touching it while you're up there teaching one person. I've done that several times. I've had several women I've had to go out and show how to shoot. And I always made sure all their guns were laid down, locked open, cylinder open, slide back, and they wasn't touching them. Have them some chairs. If you got a shady spot for them to sit in, that's fine. Make sure nobody behind you is messing with the firearm. They only mess with the firearm when you're in control of them and they're on the firing line. Guys, shooting sports are fun. Handgun shooting is fun. I've enjoyed it. I'm 66 years old. I've been doing it since I was about 12. Like I said in an earlier video, I got into handguns from fishing because back in my day, there was no four-wheelers, no three-wheelers. Your parents had a vehicle they went to work in, and unless you had your own vehicle, and I was 12 years old, I didn't have a vehicle. I was walking a half mile to a mile to different pools to shoot. And it's a lot easier to carry a pistol on your hip, carrying a rod and reel, tackle box, and possibly a string or a fish back than trying to haul a 22 rifle. Guys, shooting sports are fun. It's a good way to kill afternoon. You don't have to have fancy targets. Shoot pop cans, beer cans. I go, you're not supposed to drink, but I have done it. Shooting beer cans. You know, teach somebody the right way to shoot. I taught a friend of mine. I don't know what was going on with her. We'd been out of school about 3 years. She called me wanting to borrow a gun. She had a prowler or something. I taught her how to shoot a 22 pistol. I loaned her one for a couple of months. She brought it back to me. She said, I need to buy my own. I had a snub nose 38. I took her out. Within time, the third 5-shot cylinder full, I had her hitting a beer can 5 out of 5 times at 21 steps. And then I told her what gun to go buy. And as far as I know, she's still got that same gun today. Teaching handgun safety and responsibility is something we can do to promote this Second Amendment and help somebody have fun, go out in the country, enjoy shooting 22 for a while. Plus, it'll help them defend themselves and feel confident in their ability to defend themselves if they have to. Guys, I appreciate y'all watching this. This is kind of a low subscriber channel, but I'm going to keep doing this because I enjoy doing it. This is Big Boy. Have fun, shoot some guns, be safe, and pass this great hobby of ours and this right we've got on to your kids. Adios.